have different abilities, right? Very different from a disability. Family structures. You accommodate the singles, you accommodate the married, you accommodate the widowed, you accommodate, all those things. The same organization, and it is you in charge of ensuring all these people have a sense of belonging. Skills. You're putting in an engineer with an accountant, with a what, everybody. And all of them should not feel discriminated. You're also having religious beliefs. You call people for their party, end of year, I am Muslim, I do not take pork. And your menu has pork chops. I am Indian, I do not take meat. You have to, that's why I was saying there's so much to think about that you will always be on your toes thinking about it. Then you will have other ideologies will come. That is where you put everything else that we have not listed. And then that is not the problem. On top of that now, see, you have accommodated all that. COVID-19 comes. We cannot go to work. We cannot greet each other. We cannot even stay close to each other, and work has to continue. Laws come. You're told for you to be given a license to operate, you must have 1, 2, 3. Politics comes into play. You must. And then there is war, there is unrest. Some years back, war used to seem like something that cannot affect us. Right now we are talking about Ukraine. We are talking about some places where you have your stuff and there's cattle rustling. That's an unrest, isn't it? You're talking about you're situated in the CBD, there is a riot, and there is somebody who cannot see. So now how are we going to leverage on innovation? How are we going to leverage on technology to ensure that besides these issues, each person feels at home? Are we together? Now, my contribution is learn. Network. Get to know. And be sensitive. Because, for example, if you're putting up a storied building and you're putting a lift, is a lift enough? In that lift, who is being accommodated there? Is that lift big enough for a wheelchair? Is that lift big enough for a tricycle? If I am visually impaired, do you have a braille facility on the buttons? Have you ever noticed those facilities on that? Have you ever wondered why it is talking? The lifts, especially, they talk. First floor, going up. Second floor, going down. That is for the... Why do they speak? Because somebody is not seeing. Why do they light up? Because somebody is not hearing. Why do they have rails? Because somebody may need to hold on those ones. Very small things that make a very big difference. If you go to that building and you are visually impaired and there is no braille facility, you're stuck. You have to rely on someone. If you go to that building and that particular lift does not have it, you're stuck. What is that? It is innovation, it is technology. Reading material. How do you accommodate a visually impaired person? You would have to translate using JAWS. You might have to do Braille, which is actually very expensive. It calls for resources. And you must do that. You must also have guides for visually impaired, assistance for somebody who needs assistance to move. That is where now we're talking about that innovation. That's where we're talking about technology. That is where now issues of internet come in. Must you move to where that, for example, there might be someone who was not able to come for this workshop. We can have a virtual workshop. Leverage on technology. Have them listen from wherever they are. Let's go a step further. That person is hearing impaired. You will actually need to have a sign language interpreter. Let's look at our media. How inclusive is it? TV? Only news. And some Indian movies, some of them where they have that caption down here. The rest? So there's still a lot for us to embrace using innovation and technology. And the only way we are actually going to be able to have diversity by design is by being sensitive to what is happening around us. Being sensitive to the uniqueness of the other person next. Also, creating an environment where we have open discussions so that these issues are brought into play. And whose role is that? Who drafts them? Who does the donkey work, so to speak? Alafu? So we are actually the policy makers. It is only that the glory does not come to us. Do we care? We shouldn't. So can we make sure that these policies and structures in place cultivate safe environments that allow for open discussion and understanding? Remember, your colleagues can come to you and tell you, "Ai, hapa simuongeze." But up there, they'll not go to your boss. True. So it is actually, let's not say walipitisha. Who? Wewe ndio uliwapatia yale wataenda kupitisha. So we are the ones actually failing. Because we are the designers. Them, they are what? Approvers. Design. Let them approve. If they change, advise whether that change is good or not. They will listen to you. But ours is just to ensure whatever goes there has input that will help us achieve that inclusivity we are looking at, that diversity we are looking at, and we are able to talk about those nitty-gritty issues that may not come to the attention once those documents go up. Seek to identify constantly. Things change every day. Every day. Tabi mentioned color. I hadn't thought about that issue of autism and color. So what it says is we might be painting and we might be rebranding and choosing a color that irritates some of our clients. How would you know if you do not get that information somewhere? So that's why we like constantly seek to identify and acknowledge specific needs related to diversity. In other words, as you become a champion you need information. You may not become an expert, but you know if you need this information, there's a place you can refer to and get the right information. So let's have that so that we have those very dynamic structures ready to change as new issues come into play. Once we do this, what are we expecting to get? We are expecting that these employees we have, our colleagues, will be able to have a deeper trust. You actually trust somebody who takes care of you. Yeah? So we are trying to do that so that we develop that commitment. Anybody who has gone through a system where they feel they belong, they trust. If you go to somebody's house and you find they've actually taken an extra step so that you do not eat this and they have prepared that for you, tomorrow they invite you, you're there. Right? The same thing now happens as we do this. We are also saying we can be able now to use this innovation to do a targeted upskilling. You know that you have somebody with a very special need who is very good at something, but kuna tatizo kidogo that needs to be corrected in your environment. The moment you correct that, what have you done? You have actually enabled them to improve on their skills. And these are simple things. Maybe just adjusting the size of their screen so that they have a larger screen. Instead of buying that small computer, you buy a bigger one where they're able to see. If it is somebody who's visually impaired, install JAWS, install a program there they can learn. So at the end of the day, you are now targeting that upskilling depending on the uniqueness of that particular individual. You're also reducing turnover, surely. If my employer accommodates me, if I have to move, it will be to someone else who accommodates me in a better way. I won't move to somewhere where I don't feel accommodated well enough. The pay is not enough. You might actually pay me more, but because I will not be comfortable, I will not move. Then we are eliminating stigma and discrimination. The mere fact that you go to KRA and find persons with disability there, and some people have been thinking they can't do anything. That stigmatization. If you had a child at home you had neglected, what do? You quickly take them to school. So you're helping other people by just ensuring that that environment is good enough. You are also able to attract diverse skills. Not just with regard to gender or disability, even with regard to nationality, with regard to race. If you have a multilingual organization, it means you can bring in somebody who does not speak English or Kiswahili but speaks French with a skill that you may not have from the English speakers. We are now looking at that wide dimensions of diversity. If you're a hotelier, and you really want somebody to make some traditional food, must they speak English? You really want somebody who can do for you nice mudokoi. This person may never have gone to school. They don't know English, Kiswahili, but they know. Are you going to deny them a job? Okay, you will give them a job. They come to your hotel. How will they communicate with these other people? Because you know if there's a problem, yeah? The problem is not just employing them. Because they're not the ones who will go to the market, they'll be with other people. What accommodations do you provide for this person to be able to be long? there's a possibility they'll come and no one will talk to them because they don't know their language. So you have to go out of your way and create that diversity by design. How you do it is the challenge I leave to you. Are you going to deny somebody a chance because the whole place has men and the only person who has that particular skill is a lady? What do you do? Think about the construction sites. Most construction sites don't have washrooms. And nowadays, women, laborers, are being taken up kwa kazi ya mjengo. Where do you think they go to washrooms? A bucket? That's innovation. I'm just trying to provoke your thinking into, think about it, yes.